Have you ever thought of changing what you're breeding? I talk to quite a few breeders, and I find that a lot of them do switch breeds partway through their breeding life, or they get an extra breed. So I'm going to go through a scenario where I'm going to change breeds, and this is the sort of things that I would be thinking about when I'm choosing a new breed. So I'd want to breed a dog that was in high demand for a start. I wouldn't want to breed something that was difficult to sell. I'd like to breed something that a lot of people wanted and was easy to sell. I'd also want to have a breed that had a high chance of a good, healthy life, both for the owner's sake and for my sake as a breeder. Also, I don't want to breed a breed that's really, really large, because they eat a lot and do enormous poos, and they get out of ordinary size yards too easily. They can cause more damage, and also they're not in as much demand. I also would like to breed a breed that had a fair amount of puppies in each litter, not just one or two, and births and breeds easily. So they're my objectives. So starting off with looking at a breed that's in high demand. Here I have the top 64 breeds as of last year. So I'm going to use these breeds as my high demand breeds that I select from. So the first thing I want to look at is the economics of size. I would prefer to have a smaller breed that is cheaper to feed, cheaper for worm tablets, cheaper for just about everything, easy to handle. I can pick it up if I have to. I can manhandle it if I have to. That's my preference. All the things that I talk about here are going to be all from my point of view. Of course, you would have your own criteria and different things would be of different importance to you than for me. So important for me was not get too big a dog. And let's have a look at the economics of size. So the other thing we want to think about is not getting a breed that's too small either, because very, very small breeds, like down here under 11 pounds, these toy breeds down here, they tend to have very small litters, average of around about 3 or 4, 3.5. Same with smaller breeds, 11 to 22 pounds. The sweet spot for me with breeds that aren't too big, this is the big breeds here that are over 55 pounds. The sweet spot is the medium-sized breeds, which are 10 to 25 kilos or 22 to 55 pounds. They have an average litter size. It's only like 1 or 2 below that of the huge breeds. Quite a lot better than the small breeds. So that's where I would be heading into there, the medium breeds. So going through those top breeds, the ones that are in my view too big, I've crossed out in red. The ones that are in my view are too small, I've crossed out in blue. So let's carry on from there. This is the other page. So we're left with Beagle, Poodle, Dachshund, Shih Tzu, Schnauzer, Bulldog, Shetland Sheepdog, Australian Shepherd, Boston Terrier, Welsh Corgi, Maltese, Cocker Spaniel, Havanese, English Springer Spaniel, Pug, Brittany, and the Bichon, West Highland White, Russell Terrier, Border Collie, Mini Pincer, Shiba Inu, Bull Terrier, Soft-Coated Wheaten Terrier, Portuguese Water Dog, Whippet, Scottish Terrier, Australian Cattle Dog, Lhasa Apso, Cairn Terrier, and English Cocker Spaniel. So that's my starting list. So the other thing from my perspective as a veterinarian is that I only want to breed a breed that has a good chance of mechanical health, because it's built mechanically perfectly. It has a good doggy design, so it doesn't have long pendulous ears, a short flat face, or short wonky legs. So I like to breed a dog that has a good design, like a little wolf. So I've crossed out some of these ones with that in mind. So from my point of view, having poor design would be the Bulldog, the Dachshund, the French Bulldog, also the King Charles because of its face, the Boston Terrier face, the Corgi short legs, the Havanese short legs, and the pug face. So those are crossed out. I've crossed out the West Highland White as well because of its legs, the Basset similarly, the Scottish Terrier and the Lhasa Apso because of its face. So then that brings the list down quite a lot. And what I end up with when I then go further and select out of that breeds that do not shed, because that's what I prefer to work with, is breeds that do not shed hair. They're in high demand out there. I end up with the Poodle, the Miniature Schnauzer and the Maltese, and on the second page the Bichon Frise, the soft-coated Wheaten Terrier, Portuguese Water Dog and the Cairn Terrier. So that's my shortlist. The next thing I wanted to look at was their health. I went to ofa.org to have a look at the health profile of these little beasties that I've got on my shortlist. So the first one, the Miniature Poodle. These are some of the issues. Now they seem to have some issues with chondrodystrophy and hips, very common. We're talking about like 1 in 8 dogs. So that seems to be a pretty difficult health issues for them. Miniature Schnauzer, degenerative myelopathy, 5% were abnormal out of 41 samples, fairly small sample size, but everything else looks pretty good. Maltese or multiple issues, hips, elbows, patella and thyroid, so musculoskeletal issues and the thyroid. Bichon Frise, not too bad, 6% degenerative myelopathy, very small sample size though. Big sample size, 7.8% hip issues and patella issues with a big sample size, about 1 in 30 puppies. Soft-coated Wheaten Terrier, look at the issues there, 20% degenerative myelopathy, 20% paroxysmal dyskinesia and Legg-Perthes disease in about 1 in 20 puppies there. There's quite a few issues there. Portuguese Water Dog, hips are an issue. Cairn Terrier, hips can be an issue in 1 in 10, patella 1 in 30. So this is other small non-shedding breeds I looked at beyond the list. Just for completeness, I looked at the Australian Terrier. They have quite a few health issues here. These are small sample sizes. Patella issues in nearly 1 in 5 dogs will develop patella issues. And these fairly small sample size, but you know, it looks like some issues with their teeth and degenerative myelopathy. So I also looked outside that top 64 at the standard Schnauzer, which seems to have more health issues than the mini Schnauzer, to be honest. Fairly big sample sizes here with issues with elbow, hips and thyroid. And then I looked at the Havanese as well because I think they're so cute, but they have chondrodysplasia, so they're not actually a good design dog. Also have problems with teeth, hips and sebaceous adenitis and the thyroid issues. Tibetan Terrier, very high chance of degenerative myelopathy, 30%. Thyroid 10%, not good, is it? Spanish Water Dog, 26% hip issues, thyroid nearly 13%, and the Portuguese Podengo Pequeno, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. They had a pretty clean bill of health, fairly small sample size, 7% patella, but the rest of it looked pretty good. So what did I end up with? Going back to my selection criteria, I wanted non-shedding breed, good physical doggy design, smallish but not too small, with a low incidence of health issues and popular for urban families, so I could sell them readily with a good market. And this is the shortlist I ended up with. And lo and behold, the Miniature Schnauzer, my actual breed, is there. No wonder I chose them, right? But also the Bichon Frise was very, very appealing, and the Portuguese Podengo Pequento was another one which appealed. So I hope you found that interesting, and we'll talk to you next time.